All right. The next one, which is pretty easy since we only did the easy part, is the normal curve. It's pretty easy because we didn't do too much in depth of this. The normal curve is always going to look like this. 34% of 34%. Will you be asked to memorize that?
Yeah.
Okay, way to be an achiever. The rest of you don't have to, okay? The rest of you don't have to, but the achiever will. Excellent, excellent. If you look on the internet, there may be more precise definitions, and by the way, the more precise comes from the z-score. But this will be close enough for us. You'll be given this, the 34, well, I think you will. I'll have it on the board. If I forget, tell me to put it on the board. So those will be the same. All right, the numbers that change will be on the specific problem, So in fact, everybody, we have a whole bunch of people taking Algebra 1 this year. A whole bunch of people taking Algebra 1 this year. And their mean score is 74%. The standard deviation I've heard is big. It is 10%. All right? You will be responsible for writing the numbers along the bottom based on these two things here. Right down the middle, your median at 74% goes here. Each dash, you go 10 more, it'll be 84, and it'll be 94, and you take 10 away, 64, and you'll make 54. You will add these numbers on the bottom depending on the data that is told to you. First question, what percent of our Algebra 1 students scored over an 84? You simply go to 84, add those two numbers up, and you get 16%. What percent of our people taking Algebra 1 scored between 64 and 94? You'd add up these percents, plus you, and I believe you get about 81.5. The teachers of Algebra 1, anyone above a 54, they're going to give a chance for extra credit. Anyone below 54, it's like, kid, we're going to try this one again when you're going to do better. So let us just say that we have, this is probably about true, we have about 600 kids taking Algebra 1. And how many actual kids are below a 54? All right, so first of all, we're going to know our percent. 54, this is below, so it is 2.5. 2.5% of the kids are below that. If there are 600 kids, how many is it? Move your decimal twice, 0.025 times 600. And that, there's 600 kids. And then 2.5% of them scored below a 54. 0.025. And that would be 15 kids scored below that. You get a chance to practice questions. We got all day tomorrow, but anyone want me to stop at this moment on the curve? Good. You will be expected to know this. Flip 3 coins. You will be expected. This, it's like it's making it a cumulative final. Oh, no. 3 coins could come up heads, heads, heads. Heads, heads, tails. Heads, tails, heads. Whoops, heads. Tails, tails. Tails, tails, tails. Tails, heads, tails. Tails, tails, heads. Tails, heads, heads. The probability that you get heads, heads, heads is 1 out of 8. Probability, 2 heads, 1 tail, 1, 2, 3 times, and so on. You will be expected to use these fractions and not 13% or 38%. Use the 0.125. All right. If you want to come back, you can come back and simply ask how many cards there are. There are 52 cards. We have diamonds, hearts, clubs, and spades. The jack, queen, and king are called face cards. If you want to come back even during the test and ask just about those amounts, you may do that, you may do that, you may do that. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So, first of all, I'm just going to say the expected payout. This is simply how much money will be paid out. And here we go. If somebody gets a heads, 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 it is going to pay $20. And if somebody gets 2 heads and a tail, it's going to pay out $10. And if somebody gets tails, 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 it's going to pay out $50. So the first question is going to be, what is the expected payout? This is a charity. It's a charity. So what are they expecting to pay out? Their expected payout is this. The probability of heads, heads, heads in fraction is 1/8 times 20. Added to 2 heads and a tail is 3/8 will pay out $10. And tails, tails, tails is 1/8 times 50. Every dollars and cents problem, you round it to the nearest cent. Every dollars and cents problem, I will take off a point if you round it not to the nearest cent. 1/8. Does anyone agree that the expected payout is $12.50? Agreed? Yep, we're agreed. A few people. Cool. So that would be the expected payout. All right. Now, I'm not going to get super tricky on the English language. Not going to get super tricky on the English language. But if I say this, it costs $20 to play this charity game. It costs $20 to play this charity game. Okay, from the charity's point of view, what is their expected income? And this is from the charity's point of view. Okay, from the charity's point of view, how much are they going to take in? 20. How much are they going to pay out? 12.5. Every time someone plays, they expect to make $7. I'm going to call this expected profit. Income, how much money? Profit is better. Are they expecting to make $7.50 every time someone plays the game? All right. The reason that Vegas has all the money to make all those fabulous things is everything in Vegas, which is not charity, by the way, everything in Vegas is set up so they're going to win in the long run. They might lose to a lot of people, but they are going to win way more often as the time gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Cool. All right, and finally, do I need to record more? No, we got time. Find your calculator. I got a couple on my desk. An objective is that you know how to use your calculator to find the linear regression. When you come back during the test and say, I don't know how to use your calculator, I'm going to say, why didn't you ask me earlier? That's what I'm going to say. All right? You do not need to know how to do the scatter plot. You do not need to know how to do that. You can, that's awesome. You do not need to know how to get the calculator to draw the line. You do not need to know how to do that. You need to get the line, and then you need to know to do with it. Never mind, English is a hard language. Okay, all right. Here we go. Let us all do this. Absent kids, I'll have to work with you. I'm going to be done in 5 minutes. Here we go. This is a chart of hours worked and tips. Okay, you're working somewhere where you get tips. All right. And someone who works 10 hours, 14 hours, 3 hours, 25 hours, 8 hours, and 17 hours. And the tips that they receive in dollars: 47, 60, 10, 73, 41, 80. All right, those are what tips people got. All right. You have to know the following: stat, edit. If you've got your own calculator, do you probably have list 1 or list 2 already? Probably. If you're borrowing one of my calculators, who knows? If you need list 1 and list 2, you go to stat, setup editor, L1, L2. I will be entering these numbers as some of you are right now. Bless you. All right, you are responsible to know how to do this on your calculator. You don't have to test until Friday. You've got until then. If it's not a calculator I know how to use, you can use YouTube. All right. On these calculators, we go to Stat, over to Calculate, option 4, Linear Regression. We sure the heck don't hit that button. Linear Regression. You absolutely can go store in GoVars and stare. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to go calculate. I'm just going to go calculate. And I want us to go minimum to the hundredths. So I've got y equals my a is 2.9. I'm sorry, thousandths. 2.923x. Minimum, we could go more, plus 14.320.